So the Oxford pair on the Berkshire side, the Dutch pair in orange on the Bucks side. And again, this generation of early speed is all important, together with the discovery of a decent line. The Dutch pair moved quite markedly from Bucks to Berks over the first 10-20 metres, but both are going straight now, and I think it's Kuyt and Lukkes who have perhaps a minimal advantage.
It may be the case, yes. It's a long road. There you go. You see, that's the commentator's curse, isn't it? What do we know? But here we have this lovely tracking from the side, and the Oxford boys are looking quite comfortable in the front. There's a lot more beef in the stroke seat of the Oxford boat, like some 2 stone, and in the Dutch crew here we have a good consistent sculling together. It's not something that you can actually put maximum. I'm going to get criticised again for this. Sculling is not the same as rowing. You can really row flat out. Sculling, you really have to almost temper your application to get the best out of a sculling boat. But we're well into the race now, coming up to the quarter mile, and it's still the advantage to the Oxford boys.
And so let's address the technical issues here, John. We'll take the Oxford boys since they do lead. You've got Henry Goodier in the bow and Joshua at stroke. How would you delineate between their respective roles?
Well, they're both going to take some responsibility for steering. You don't have a rudder in a double, and that's another thing that we might have a little discussion about, but we're not going to. But the guy in the bow obviously can turn around and see, but on the other hand, the guy in the stroke seat, he can see where we've just been, and as it's a straight line, both of them have an equal advantage in that. So obviously the guy at the stroke is going to set the rhythm, he's going to set the length, and the guy in the bow is going to get the best out of that. So you're constrained by the stroke, but you're also inspired by it.
And through the course of the race, the degree of communication between the two, or is it instinctive?
Well, the bow does the calls, and he becomes the cox as well. I mean, we have seen crews where other people take that responsibility, but traditionally and effectively and pragmatically, it's the person at the back who is also looking at the opposition much more readily. He can see them. If they're in the lead, he can turn around and find them if they're not in the lead. So he will do the calls, he will do the strategies, although they have talked it through quite considerably beforehand. And, as John Hill quite rightly says, there is quite a difference here in terms of weights between the two pairs. Bugajski, in the stroke seat for the Oxford pair, 15 stone 3 by comparison with 12-1 for Bart Lukkes, his equivalent, and those for whom that is very often an indicator are vindicated in their thinking here, because certainly the apparently superior power is winning the day. It's interesting to see, of course, Oxford University people doing sculls. Obviously, the focus is entirely, that's the wrong word. In their training, they'll do sculling quite considerably. The focus of their season is all about sweep-oared rowing with one oar. So these people will be competent scullers because that's the way it is nowadays. People come through sculling before they row. But doing competitive sculling at this level, a sort of international level, is quite not a challenge so much as an excitement. A wonderful thing to be seen doing.
Henry Goodier, 6'6" from Oriel College, Oxford, rowed, as mentioned, at 3 in Oxford's 6.5 length win over Cambridge on the 11th of April. And Joshua Bugajski, the ISIS crew that also won that day, beat Goldie by 3 lengths from Keble College. He's 24 years old, came from Cheadle-Hulme High School in Cheshire.
And then Cardiff University. In fact, looking at the backgrounds, you look at sort of Eton College, Imperial College, standard provenance for a good rower. And then look at Cheadle-Hulme High School, Cardiff University. Well, bless them for that. Both of those pathways have produced 2 excellent athletes who are really showing their superiority over the Dutch boys at the moment.
And underlines a breadth of talent and indeed a breadth of source for British rowing that perhaps isn't always recognised. Certainly it is the British pair here who are smoothing their way to what looks likely to be a comfortable win over Conor Kuyt and Bart Lukkes, coached by Peter Kolsters, the Dutch pair, part of the lightweight international Dutch squad for a couple of years now at under-23 and at full level. But they are being, I hope it's not unkind to say, outclassed, certainly outmuscled, outstrengthed.
Outperformed, certainly, yeah. Absolutely. I look at Henry's background at Henley is quite extensive. He has various campaigns back to 2007 where he got to the semis in the Princess Elizabeth, which is the top junior eights event at this prestigious occasion.
These two are lining themselves up a semi-final against a crack South African pair, James Thompson and John Smith from the University of Pretoria, a pair of lightweight South African world champions. So it'll be interesting to see those two against these two who are certainly in the heavyweight category. That would be a most engaging competition without quite yet wanting to take it for granted, though I suspect we probably can.
I think the only way it's not going to change now is if they boom and bust. I think that would be about it. But if you look at the Oxford boat, it's wallowing a little bit from side to side. And I think this is just laziness. I think, you know, that they're just managing the race. They're not focusing enough, and they're just getting a little bit relaxed. If there's a Cox in that boat, they'd be telling them to sit up and keep their control and keep their head still. This is not a problem. It's just interesting that they allow that to happen. You see it just wallowed over there to the left, and that makes the pickup of the boat less effective. If you just get a little bit of a whoopsie as you're up, put the blade in the water, it doesn't pick up the rate run of the boat, it just sticks in the water. So they need a little bit of a talking to, I think Sean Bowden and Andy Nelder just need to take them to the side and say, don't go sloppy on this.
Well, Thompson and Smith having won their quarter-final by a length and a half this morning, with a time of 7.5 minutes. Now face this pair, Goodier and Bugajski, who've won by significantly more than a length and a half. Not able to bring you the times just yet, those will be online very soon. But what matters, as has been said since time immemorial at Henley, is that one boat beats the other, and one has beaten the other by quite a distance on this occasion. Goodier and Bugajski well ahead of the Dutch pair Kuyt and Lukkes, who follow them home now.
I discussed with this morning.